Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We're back. We had a little bit of an international break, but it's good to be back, Dean. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, we hadn't really planned to have one, have we? And then realised that the FPL world was pretty dead on Friday, wasn't it? I mean, it was not something that was pretty much anyone's radar as we started to get into the international. Some people don't like watching international games at all. I did get into it over the weekend, I have to admit, but up before Friday, I wasn't really watching the international, so had a couple of days off of the football. But yeah, it's coming back around fast now, and there's a few storylines obviously opening up. Since we last did a show, Man United have been plunged into the latest disaster. Yeah, goodness knows what their club's up to. But carnage, and there's some good games coming up, and there's some big selection choices to make. I've got a big selection choice this week to make because I really want to get Son into my team. I've decided it's going to happen. Yeah, that's an early look at where my week is going, mate.
Yeah, mine too, mate. I think he plays Tuesday night at St James's Park against Saudi. I did stream on Friday, mate, and you're exactly right. It was absolutely dead as a dodo. So yeah, the FPL community are back with us for sure tonight. And I think from kind of the turning point was always going to be Monday. We're back. We're in. We're ready for FPL again. And yeah, over about 100 of you in the chat. Thank you guys for joining. Do hit that like button. And look, tonight is all about we're gonna touch on we're gonna show our teams and community team. Of course we are. We're gonna do, as always, some tips and chips on a Monday. And as always, we'll be taking your questions. But also, we're going to look at some of the biggest underachievers. And this sort of follows Dean's run about Jackson and previous shows. But let's look at some of the other underachievers so far this season. I tell you who doesn't feature on that list. Darwin Núñez, who is playing well. And again, maybe someone that will be on my radar in the not too distant. We'll also do a poll for the community team, early thoughts as well. But good to see CHR mod in the chat. We've got Dave and Matty and RTJ. Shout out to RTJ, who is one of my squad members. Haley's with us, and Derek and Pete. Good to see so many familiar faces and some new ones too. International break for me, Dean. I've not watched much football. I've been enjoying the Rugby World Cup, and I tell you what else I've been enjoying. Bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Top Boy is back, season 3 on Netflix.
Do you know what? I think I've watched the first episode, and I've never watched it. Not because I don't want to.
Yeah,
I just kind of like saving it for. I'll need this at some stage in my life, and I presumed it would be like while I had young children, I was like stuck at home, like during like a pandemic or something. And I haven't actually got round to doing it, so now I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have 3 seasons of Top Boy. It sounds like I'm gonna have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, in the chat, let us know if you've been watching. So the BBC made Top Boy, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was massive. Dean and I were at the age where it was the thing to watch.
Yeah.
And then didn't come back, and then with new producers, the 2 main actors, Asher D and Kano, don't even know their real names, Ashley Walters and whoever, they pitched it to Netflix, and Netflix went, yeah, we'll pick it up. So instead of going straight like season 2 on Netflix, they had to call it season 1 because it was like a new thing. So now there are 3 Netflix seasons as well as that old BBC season.
Yeah, the old BBC one I watched, obviously, like that was good. But sounds like this is equally good. But I have watched football. I watched England, obviously, and the main game I watched in full was Germany v Japan. That was a pretty mad one. I've watched USA. Watched a bit of the Brazil game. They got a big win.
Richarlison missed a sitter. Pascal Gross played for Germany. There's some big headlines there, kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. And actually, currently, I've got Burnley v Tottenham on the TV because I just want to see how Son actually played in that game. I'm going to keep glimpsing up just to see what kind of positions he would get into and whether I think he's going to start ahead of Richarlison. I don't see that Richarlison comes back into that lineup, so I think he's going to be nailed on for me to come back.
Sokan says, waffling and start some business.
All right, son.
Love that. I've had some mentions in the chat about pigeons, as in what I might be getting up to in the international break. For those that don't know, when I've been streaming on my channel, I've been doing some pigeon watching, and they're usually just out my window. And anyway, on Friday's stream, I was like, there's no pigeons. I can see them in the distance, but they're not close, and I can't show the camera around. Well, anyway, earlier today, I got a photo of these lovebird pigeons, and here they are outside. They're lit. Hang on, let me.
They're actually
actually kissing. Is it gonna?
Wow, I can see it. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I didn't quite get the humping, which I'll save for another day. But yeah, back.
Yeah, Twitter after dark. That's for mate. But yeah, okay, we'll give Southgate what he wants, and we'll probably start talking.
So headlines for me in terms of international break. Richarlison missed a sitter, and with his form, I was like, let's go and look at some of the Richarlison versus Son data. I was in the scout members area earlier, and I looked on the last 5-6 seasons. Richarlison, some seasons he outperforms his XG, and other seasons he's under it. But if you look from the 5 seasons since he was at Watford, maybe 6, he's pretty much par. He's not a bad finisher, but he ain't a good one. He doesn't. I think he's just below average. Son, every season he's been at Spurs, doesn't just outperform his XG, he smashes it. This guy, I don't think there would be a single player that overachieves his XG more than Son, over a long period. I'm sure Haaland and Kane have done it for a couple of seasons, but literally every season, that guy, even when he has an off season like last year, still overperforms his XG. He's a clinical finisher, and I think he has to be number 9.
Yeah, that's interesting that even last season it counted, because last season, it wasn't by him vintage. And obviously he had a couple of niggles himself, which he's now talked about. And it seems like he's put all that aside. I'm watching now, actually, and he's just charged down like a Burnley. The Burnley just laid the ball back to the keeper. And Son is like 100 miles an hour charging it down. There's no way this guy is not starting the next game for Tottenham. I mean, we know he's going to start anyway, but I mean, as the 9. Sheffield United at home, this has to be the go-to transfer this game week. I can't imagine there's a bigger switch up that people are going to make.
400k, I think, have already bought him in, but that will massively increase as the deadline approaches.
I just want to get tomorrow's game out of the way, basically. I'll do it Wednesday, to be honest.
Yeah. The good thing is he won't go up till probably Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. So, yeah, you've got a little bit of time. Maddison's also had a price rise. And again, Maddison and Son will both probably go up 0.2 in the international break, but maybe not till Friday. Remember, it's a Saturday deadline this week, so you get an extra day for that potential price rise as well. But yeah, I'm with you. I want to double up on that Spurs attack. I want to go big on Son. And I am tempted, before we get into the kind of tips and chips and look at those worst performers, let's talk a little bit about captaincy, because this week, Son plays Sheffield United at home. Now, Haaland is a good fixture. It's away at West Ham. But if you are someone that wants to occasionally bet against the big man, someone like Ali Yahangarov, one of our chasers, won FPL last year. He bet against Haaland a few times away from home in fixtures that were okay, like West Ham, but he was willing to back against and go, no, there's someone playing at home, whereas big team versus little team. And it's ticking a lot of boxes. And even game week 1, to be fair to Ali, he went Saka at home to, Forest, instead of Haaland away to Burnley. So it was risky, and it sort of balanced itself out. But I am on the I'm completely 50-50. Some will say owning Son is enough, but others might look at the opportunity and go, Captain Son could be the shout. Because West Ham under Moyes, I don't like backing necessarily against them in a big way at the London Stadium. They're pretty robust defensively, and Sheffield United all over the shop.
Yeah, that is I haven't even contemplated whether I would give him the armband yet. City at West Ham, tough one to call that. I agree. I'd probably think just having Son is enough, but I guess it will depend how many people end up transferring him in, doesn't it? I mean, I think a lot of people like us are all going to be looking at it, but is the average casual going to do it? Probably not. So
he's already had all those transfers in 400,000 or whatever it is. He's only 10% owned still. He's still a differential Son. No matter how many buy in between now and the deadline, he's still going to go in at under 15% owned, and therefore
when you put it like that, under 15% will be a big gap to Haaland, and that does become interesting.
I wonder if we can do a poll in the chat. If you own both, who do you captain, Son or Haaland? And I'm interested. Answer with honesty, though, guys, because I really want to know if... and Haley says, will Son be on penalties? Ange Postecoglou has come out and said the penalty taker will be Son or... And he mentioned then 2 others, Maddison, and I can't remember who else. But he pretty much insinuated Son would be first choice. And he's club captain. And remember, when Kane's not been on pens and been injured, Son has stepped up. Maddison's record's not great at Leicester either. There's quite a few saying Son in the chat. A few say Haaland. We will poll it. FPL Gaza Haaland all day.
Yeah. How many goals did he score against West Ham last season?
Oh, I don't know. Good. I do remember him scoring against West Ham on the opening day, didn't he? That was at the London Stadium. That was his first game in the Premier League.
I'm trying to quickly look up on Transfermarkt here how many he got.
Love that. You like that old stat, don't you?
I do like that stat.
Yeah.
I think it really counts for a lot for players like this. I don't know why I believe in it so much, but I really do. So I like if he. I've got a feeling he scored 3. He got. Yes, he's played twice against West Ham and he's got 3 goals against them, which probably is about average, to be honest. But that's about his average record against a Premier League team at this stage after one season. Yeah, it's only about. It's showing up as the 7th. His 7th biggest victim so far. It's showing up.
Okay,
so that's one way to read into it.
There's G-Wiz in the chat. G-Wiz knows he's a West Ham fan. Yes, 2 in his first game against us. That was game week 1, and I remember a few were nervous about captaining him because he didn't have a very good Community Shield, and already the headlines were like, "Oh, is Haaland going to be a flop?" And it was like, Jesus, give him a break. And I think Salah maybe had a good fixture as well.
I don't think I'll go against Haaland. You know.
Well, the fact you were thinking about bringing in Son but hadn't sort of processed the captaincy makes me think, clearly, like it's
not really my reasoning. So I'm like,
See, there's people out there going, do I bring Son in for a hit this week? My answer to that is, if you're going to captain him, take a -4 to get him in. If you believe Son is the best captaincy asset, do what you need to do to bring him into your team. Like I always think that if you don't own the best captaincy asset that you believe is the best option, you can usually get to them with a 4-point hit.
Yeah.
Now, most weeks you own the best captaincy option because you've got players like Haaland, and if not, other good players, Saka or Salah or whoever in your team. Poll is pretty even here. 51% saying Son. I wonder if that poll is going to produce similar results when we do, if we own Son for the community team, if we do it for the community team, and then it shows, are you actually willing to do it and go through with it? Because voting hypothetically is very different.
Yeah, totally. Chat Sports says it's a big move to go. So, and it is a big.
I'm 50-50 completely.
Dean, are you protecting your rank? Yeah, I am. I usually fall off so far. I'm already protecting my rank. No, I'm not. It's not about that. It's just like the threat of Haaland bagging a couple at West Ham, which is probably enough. Like while I back him to score against Sheffield United, 100%. Like I don't think he's going to go and get another hat trick. Like I don't. That's not really the reason I'm bringing it. There's potential there, definitely, but it's more that I think Son will probably score a couple against Sheffield United, but I equally feel like Haaland could do that. He's probably more likely to.
Extra point from midfielder goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. That is true.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like Haaland's far more.
It's just so hard to go against him,
and it could break. It could feel like it's broken your season. Like if Son blanks and Haaland gets a hat trick, now that could happen. That swing is huge. For me, it also comes down to the other players I've got in that team. Now, Big Man Backer, and you can join our show on Wednesday at 2, would say, look at it in its own right. Like, take every decision individually. But I would also go, I've got Maddison in my team and I've got Foden in my team. So maybe I could go against Haaland captain because, he could get points, but Foden can get the assists. And therefore, I'm kind of, it's less risky, but I could equally do that argument the other way around, and I own double Spurs. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's pretty insane. Sorry, Mark, just got another notification. If he's in this Pogba story that's going at the moment,
go on.
Pogba's suspended from football as it stands. He's failed a drugs test on accounts of too much testosterone. And the Juventus have just released a statement saying he's been suspended for an anti-doping offence, and the club will consider how to act in the next steps of the process. There's talk about Juve now terminating his contract. There's talk about him being suspended for 2 to 4 years from football. So I know this isn't FPL related, but we've all followed Pogba's career, and like he just got back to action. I think maybe the Udinese game even was his comeback game. I can't remember, but he's just come back and now he's
came on,
again.
didn't he? I'm pretty sure he's always injured, but then is always seen like skiing and stuff like that. If Juve can terminate his contract because he's breached it, they'll be laughing all the way to the bank because they are worried about how much they are paying this guy who is never around.
It actually does them a massive favour.
Yeah, it does. Instead, get out. It's their get out clause,
really
which they probably need.
They might be more likely to win the league now than they were with Pogba. Right, Mark's got
super chat. Come on, Mark. I forgot we had super chat.
Mark. I forgot we had it too. Get your money in now. Get your money in now.
Bench Guardiola or Bowen? Oh, we can probably answer this more when we see our teams. But Captain Madders or Haaland, I'll answer for you. I am considering captaining Son, and I do think there's a 50% chance I'd do it. I am not considering Maddison, and if I own just Maddison in my Spurs midfield or Haaland, I would be going Haaland. What Son gives us is he's fresh off a hat-trick, and he's more likely to be on pens, and we think he'll be the number 9 yet again. Now, sure, Richarlison could come in and he could go wide, but I think it's likely that he's both on pens and playing number 9. And with that in mind, he rivals Haaland for captaincy given the fixture. Maddison doesn't have the same routes to points because penalties probably aren't there. And his goal threat, sure, his assist threat's great. His goal threat isn't a Son or a Haaland. So I'd go there. And in terms of benching Gvardiol or Bowen, I'd probably play Bowen. I think I'd always probably favour the attacker, but we'll talk more about Gvardiol later when we see.
Gvardiol's also a rotation threat, isn't he? Which we've seen. So...
Although Ake did go off injured against Holland, but apparently he's all right. But I think he went off with a hamstring problem, maybe, which helps him. If Ake is out, we do feel like Gvardiol's got safer minutes. But
that's true. Yeah.
True. There we go. Okay, guys, thank you all for your questions. We'll get to some at the end of the show. Obviously, any super chats will interrupt us and answer, but non-super chats will bring some out. But we've got lots to get through this evening. So let's have a look at some of the worst Premier League finishers so far this season in our tips and chips. Oh, damn. The chat is so knowledgeable. Ake, although going off, I think, in game 1, did play yesterday. Boo. So he's fine. There we go. Ignore me on Ake. Guys, thank you so much for the support today. It's good to see so many numbers watching. If you can hit that like button, that'd be awesome, though. And obviously, if you're not already subscribed, you're all subscribed, though, right? I don't have to tell you to subscribe. You're all subscribed. Surely.
Here we go. Look at this
list.
What do we think? I love
Come on,
this list.
Kick us off.
This is my list, people. I spotted this last week, and I was like, this is what I wanted to back up my agenda. The Premier League's worst finishers so far this season. Nicholas Jackson in a league of his own, absolutely in a league of his own at the moment, like just utter garbage.
I'm struggling to work out the order. I get that Jackson's top, but why is Bruno halfway down? He's on 2.1 and 1 goal. I can't. There must be something in the order.
Is 2.1 and 1 goal not as bad as 1.8 and no goal?
Oh, it's the sorry. Yeah, it's the difference between
between how many they should have for their.
Yeah, so he's Bruno's at 1.1 difference.
Yeah, so I think basically, that's correct. Yeah,
I knew there was something in it. Must have been. It was so random.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, but no, I'm actually glad you pointed that out, because the people probably thinking the same thing. But yeah, it is exactly that. The difference between that they should have scored and what they've actually ended up with. And Bruno is not a striker. That is a fair point too. And Ollie Watkins and Nicholas Jackson should be finishing those chances. Enzo, give him.
Enzo's a DM.
Yeah, exactly. Neil Maupay. I mean, nobody has got Neil Maupay, I hope, at the moment. But yeah, I just think Nico Jackson, like, it just demonstrates really where he's at the moment, and the gamble you're taking on him, because it's it proves that he's getting into the right positions.
Yeah.
It also proves that he can't hit a barn door. So it depends what you're seeing, doesn't it? Like you could literally, your own judgment decides whether you're loving the fact he's always there, or are you watching him and thinking, yeah, but you don't know what to do with it.
See, I'm glass half full with everything in life, which is why I love Nico Jackson as an FPL option, because I'm like, the getting chances thing will stay consistent through his career. That's the sort of striker he is. Same as Darwin Núñez. The converting chances, like Darwin and Jackson, Timo Werner, whoever, strikers like that, you know what I'm talking about. I think that will be up and down, but eventually that will be up. And when that's up, and you combine it with the high chance creation, which he gets because that's the sort of player he is, you have yourself a great FPL option. But it is about timing and picking those moments to own a player like Jackson or Darwin. And at the moment, fair, it doesn't feel like that's the moment. But I see the chances and I'm like, have to stay on him because the fixtures are there too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, Nicholas Jackson is on international duty at the moment with Senegal. He didn't actually
How's he
play.
doing?
They played Rwanda the other day, and he wasn't anywhere to be seen.
Oh,
I think that was because
rubbish.
though I did ask someone like, why would Nicholas Jackson not be playing in this game? They said, well, I'm pretty sure they've won their group easily, so like maybe they're just not playing him and they're trying some other guys. They've got a game tomorrow. They're playing Algeria tomorrow, so that's even though it's only a friendly, that's probably a tougher game for Senegal. So I do expect Nico Jackson to play tomorrow night, and if he don't score against Algeria, then he's even more on my feared list for Chelsea. I'm just like, I could just see basically this becoming such a narrative that Chelsea gets to the January transfer window and buy a striker.
Yeah,
I just think
Tony.
like, maybe it is. Like I haven't heard anything about Brozier. Like, what is he going to be? Is he going to?
He's training.
Knows?
I think we'll see him off the bench in game week 5 or 6. Like he'll be getting minutes soon.
Okay. So maybe he needs that competition as well, to be fair. Like maybe that'll be good for Nicholas Jackson to have that threat. But Ollie Watkins behind him, I do actually have in my team. So while I'm slating Nicholas Jackson, I've got the second one. And I've stuck with him since week 1.
Watkins has been here before as well. Like he started his career as a wide player and then converted it to a night. He's naturally not known. I know last year he had very good moments. He probably overperformed his XG. But before that, he was probably always a player that was around par or below his XG.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he's off penalties.
He's not off penalties. I'm not going to lie. I'm obviously a bit concerned about this. And like, I'm trying to be loyal to my players this season. And I'm hoping that things turn around for Ollie Watkins. I'm going to leave him this week because they've got Palace at home. And I'm like, well, it's a reasonable chance. Like, they're going to have opportunities there. Like, Watkins, he hasn't been far away from scoring in the league. He's obviously scored a few in their European game against Hibs. But he's got an opportunity there. He got Palace, and who's the week after? Oh, Chelsea away. So it's quite an easy one the week after as well. So we'll see. I honestly will be judging Ollie Watkins quite harshly.
What do you take of Diaby, Dean? Because I was looking at a list earlier for the best finishers who's overperforming their XG, and in the top 10 was Diaby. So Diaby's had something like 0.8 in terms of chances, and sorry, let me get this right. I can't remember the numbers. He's slightly overperforming his XG, whilst Watkins is under, and they're getting a similar amount of chances. And when you look at how Villa are playing, they're playing in the same position pretty much. It's a front two. Like I thought Diaby was going to be a sort of fairly wide forward. Well, he's pretty central, and it's a front two, and their average position map, they're as close to goal as each other. And I see Diaby as a 6.5 million mid and go, I can save $1.5 million. Now, if Watkins was still on pens, you might go, it's worth the extra. Probably not that much. But knowing he's not on pens, when I move to an Aston Villa forward, it's going to be Diaby.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 goals already from his 4 games for Villa. Like you say, I wasn't expecting him to be this close to goal and get in the positions that he's getting in. In the Bundesliga last season, Diaby got 9 goals, 9 assists.
Oh,
so
it's good.
That's pretty good. Exactly. And is Europa? Let me check his European record. Yeah. So in Europe, he played in the Champions League and went down to the Europa, and he got 5 goals and assists across those games as well. So he's pretty consistent in terms of his output. Anyway, I think when he came into the season, I spoke to someone who watches a lot of him. They were like, it's a very hard player to judge coming to the Premier League because you see players like this and they either hit the ground running and like from day one, great asset, they'll have a great season. Or if they don't do well in the first few games, that could be the end of their career because of the type of player he is.
Pepe, Leon Bailey.
Exactly. Like we've seen him a million times. But because the things have gone well, I think Diaby is a good option, I have to say.
Yeah. The only other one on this list worth talking about in terms of FPL is Bruno. The fact he's accumulated 2.1 XG is impressive. One of those, and remember, there's no penalties in there, although he's on pens. One of them was a header, which he missed from point blank range, which was probably, I don't know, over 0.5, but still.
The worst miss of the season so far.
Yeah, it was a bad one. Although I think Varane also had a header, which was probably like a 0.8 XG. But I would consider Bruno and go, the fact he's in those positions. There is also a school of thought that says Oh, by the way, he relies on assists, so he gets tons of points. Bruno's an amazing FPL option this season. And could he play out wide on the right? I'm not so sure. I think we probably see Garnacho left, Rashford right. Maybe we'll ask Ian Irvin and let you guys know. But without Anthony, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that balance, because we've seen when Anthony goes off often in the last 20 minutes of a game, Bruno shifted wide right, and Ten Hag likes using him there. Now, when he's wide right, he's closer to the goal. If Mason Mount was fit, maybe it'd be easier to move Bruno out the midfield and put him wide. But without Mount, they might feel like they need either Mount or Bruno in there. So maybe Bruno stays. But monitoring that.
I spoke to someone that covers Man United. So I was trying to find out what would go ahead. And obviously, Pellistri is the guy that a lot of United fans want to see. Yeah. And apparently, he's been training brilliantly. Ten Hag definitely has an eye on him. I think he's only played 20 odd minutes so far, like across the 4 games. So like it doesn't seem likely he's going to start. But he is 4.4 million, and United are without a player in that area. So at the very least, he's going to have more time coming off the bench.
Agreed.
So as someone that's padding out your squad, there's worse places to go right now than that. Even though I agree with you, I think that he'll be second, probably third in the pecking order, just because I don't know if this is the time when Ten Hag's going to trust somebody this new and naive. Maybe
he has trust issues. Ten Hag isn't the sort of manager that chucks in kids. I was surprised with Garnacho when he kept coming on as a sub, playing really well, and he was just never starting him. Now, sure, game week 1, 2, whatever, he started, but and he's got more confidence in Garnacho now, despite the appearances being pretty poor this season. But I think he probably comes back in. And there's a lot of United fans out there going, "Oh, Pellistri this, Pellistri that," and sure, he might be great. But there was same United fans were saying that about Garnacho game week 1 and 2, hyping him so much for a start, and he hasn't produced. So
and also, like, remember Garnacho last season? Like, he was actually playing great and still wasn't getting starts. Still didn't back him,
and he was playing so well, wasn't he? Like Ian said, United's best player for good spells last season.
I've got a feeling though, Pellistri did play for Uruguay. Someone in the chat will know this, and no point me even trying to look this up right now. Let me know if you know how Pellistri did during the international. I've got a feeling he started during international break for Uruguay and played quite well. I've got a feeling.
I love that team, mate. So, that Uruguay team's got no Suarez or Cavani. Bielsa's the manager, and Darwin Núñez had an amazing game.
Oh, really?
I fancy Uruguay going into like major competitions with Bielsa. Copa America.
Yeah, that is interesting.
For World Cup.
Nice.
All right, let's have a look at look, the wildcard draft is coming. First, we'll show you our teams, and of course, we'll show you the community team, the chaser team. Guys, in this next sting, we give you 5 seconds, and it only takes you 0.5 seconds to hit the like button and subscribe. So coming up next, we've got Pimp My Team. Here we go, Dean. We're going to see 4 teams. Yours first.
Okay, cool. I won't waste too much time on this one. I had a decent week last time out. I've already covered really the fact that I want to get Son into my team. I've got a bit. I thought I had more money than that in the bank, to be honest. But let me just double check what I've actually got.
You've got ambitions to go Enzo up to Son, but it's not going to happen, mate.
I've got 1.2 million in the bank, so I have actually got more than that. So I've got 1.2. So I'm thinking Saka.
Yeah, you can sell Saka, Rashford, or Salah. Guys, let us know in the chat who you would sell to get Son in, because that is a huge debate this week. Which Arsenal or Man United midfielder do you sell to go Son?
Yeah,
it's probably what most are doing.
It's a really tough one, but I'm like convinced that I need Son. Chat Sport's gone straight in with Rashford out.
Brighton. Saka's the one I think I'm holding. I've got 3 up for grabs who could go, and I think Saka's the one I'm like, out the 3, I think that's the one I'm least likely to sell.
I'm not enjoying this season's version of Saka.
You're not?
No, I've watched a lot of him, and I'm looking at, like, obviously still like better than most people in the world, but like I'm like, I don't know, there's something there that I'm not getting the same feel good vibes from. So I'm like, I don't know, I like it.
Is that Arsenal attack? If you'd sold Saka, I mean, if you sold Rashford, you'd say the same thing, but take the players out of the scenario. do you want to back the Arsenal attack for the next couple of weeks or the Man United attack for the next couple of weeks? And I ask myself that and go, I feel like Arsenal are a more reliable attack with probably a higher ceiling.
Maybe. I mean, especially the fact they've got Everton. Like, I mean, Everton can't defend to save their lives. Like, really can't. So there is that going against it. And like Man United, after the week they've just had, a bound to lose to Brighton. Like that seems like
I think Brighton could outplay them, mate. I think Brighton could outplay them.
See Brighton going there and winning like 2-0 or something, like given the mess that Man United are in. But Man United might give a debut to Højlund. They might have Amrabat fit. If he's fit, he probably starts. Reguilon might be in the team. We might look at a total different Man United, to be honest. So I'm going to have to. I was saying I'm going to make this transfer on Wednesday, wasn't I? But based on what I just said,
no-go. If Salah was 8.5 or 9 million, the same as Saka or Rashford, would we be going Salah to Son's an option? I know you like Salah in your team because he's a differential, which he, against the community is a differential. We get the fact he's 26% owned, but
yeah,
would you consider Salah? I mean, the fixtures, I think Liverpool for the next. The ticker as it extends to like 5, 6, 7 game weeks, Liverpool got a good run and obviously no Champions League.
Mate, Liverpool are the second best team in the league at the moment.
Yeah, 3-0 against Villa was good.
I really do think that Liverpool, especially going forward, like they're going to score a lot of goals, I think, Liverpool this season. And so when I'm assessing it, if I think about it really, and I'm like logic about it, I'd be like, okay, well, Liverpool are looking to me right now like they'll come closest to Man City. Then I'd probably have Arsenal and Man United be way down. So really, I should probably get rid of Rashford, if anyone. So maybe I do need to have a closer look at that. Cameron, thank you very much, mate. A super chat just come in wanting to say thanks for the great content. Hope everything's going well with you, mate, and your new baby. So you've had a bit of an international break, your baby star's first international break. So I hope you're enjoying that one.
I can't remember baby's name, Dean. Can you?
I can't either.
No. Oh, let us know, Cam. Let us know baby's name. We'll know straight away. Hopefully she's still watching us and one of our mini chasers. I think a few in the chat have mentioned the fixtures are wrong. Yeah, I think they're just a week out. I think
it's just a week out. It's just from last week. Basically, this one, yeah.
So I guess you've made one transfer because if the money in the bank's wrong, I reckon you've probably made this was your game week 4. Your team is one player.
Yeah, let me see actually. Yeah, let me see what is different. So I made a late transfer and Udoji came in.
Yes, goodbye.
And and Stones was gone. Yeah,
CH new Daisy.
Love
that. Nice name, Cam.
We can't forget that one, mate. We can't forget.
Yeah, we'll remember straight away. Cam says she's your number 1 youngest fan, definitely. Let's move on to my team quickly. And again, I'm trying to think what my transfer was last week, just in case my team is in the same place as Dean's. It's my game week 4. Yes, I think I don't have Martinelli. I went Martinelli to Maddison. So Martinelli did return. Maddison also returned. So I'm happy there. So my early thoughts are I'm going to captain Son or Haaland. I'm 50-50. But I'm also looking at how do I get Son in? Son will be in this team, and I will be selling one of. I can't quite go Matoma to Son. I'm about 0.2, 0.3 short. So it'll be one of Foden, Saka, or Rashford. I'm going to rule out Saka now. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to be selling Rashford or Foden. Let us know in the chat what you reckon. I mean, Foden has West Ham away, Forest at home the next 2. The safe move is to sell Foden because he's lowly owned and you never know if he's going to start. Or you certainly don't back him for 90 even when he does start. But so my head says sell Foden, but my heart says keep Foden and sell Rashford. I love having Foden. I love the fact Foden's a differential. I look at where United have been playing. We could see Rashford even play on the right. Like if Garnacho plays on the left, does Rashford play on the right? And on the right, he's not the same player. And I'm not sure. United score many against Brighton. I know Brighton defensively are poor and don't keep clean sheets, but I think Brighton out football Man United. And I'm a bit apprehensive about that one. So yeah, stay tuned for Friday's show and I'll let you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's quite a big decision. I mean, I'm hoping Foden plays for England against Scotland tomorrow. I really am.
Yeah, that's a point. That will help me.
He's obviously left out of the last game, which was annoying. I just don't understand how Foden isn't always one of the first names on your team sheet. I just don't get it. Like he's one of the best footballers in the world, as far as I'm concerned. It just baffles me. But yeah, I'd see how he fares in over the course of that one, and then help to judge it.
The chat's so torn. Indian football coach is with me. I'm seeing on Saturday playing football in Sheffield. Yeah, against the Indian football coach. Yeah, Foden is staying in my team. Rashford will be gone. So he's got the same dilemma as me. Again, I'm sure. But then straight after that, Bo Texas saying get rid of Foden. The less players with short-term fixtures makes you more flexible with your wildcard. Yeah, I'm not too worried about wildcard thinking just yet. Although I do like Game Week 9 wildcard, which I am tempted with, but I'm not going to commit to just yet. Guys, let's have a look at your team. That's what hopefully many of you are here for. And then it's the wildcard draft. We'll still have a good 15 minutes on that. Over 350 of you are watching. Thank you guys for the support. Although only 91 of you are enjoying it. So if you want to show us support, come on, hit the like button. This is the Chaser team, Dean. We did well, didn't we? We had a good week there. I can't remember. We sold Bruno for Mbomo. So I think we've got like a couple of mil in the bank.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I think so. And we had the old João Pedro chat, I think, didn't we, last time out? We're trying to figure out what we're going to do about that one. We're trying to encourage that he's gone, aren't we? But it's not up to us. It's not up to us. You guys have got a big decision to make. CH says there's 2.5 mil in the bank. So that will be true. CH will not be wrong about that. So, yeah, you guys got big decisions to make here about who comes into the starting lineup, potentially with Vardiol. And would there be any temptation to move away from Haaland and onto, getting like Martinelli to Son? Exactly that.
Yeah, Kale says Pedro to Alvarez. CH, you were on Twitter earlier, and you saw a few good comments by our chasers. I saw you tagged a few of our chasers. What's the general consensus here? What should we be polling? Because we can go up to Son by selling Martinelli, Saka, or Rashford. And again, that is a suggestion in the chat. Mr. T, Martinelli to Son. We can easily sell João Pedro to a variety of forwards. Darwin, Jackson, I both like. Jesus, I like. Alvarez, I like. That's 4 good striker options. So maybe we poll João Pedro options first, and then, but we don't commit to that transfer.
Yeah.
We just, if we were to make that transfer, who we'd go with, and then we can maybe do Martinelli replacements. When we'll include Martinelli as an option, and then we can go, right, you've gone as your forward, you've gone with Alvarez, and as your midfielder, you've gone with Son. Which one do you want to make?
Yeah, I like the João Pedro one. Yeah, let's get that going first. I don't think João Pedro is the answer. I thought coming into the season, we thought we had big hopes for João Pedro, but no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. CH has said Watkins to Awoniyi. Hadn't thought about selling Watkins. Yeah, maybe. And Chukwuemeka to
I forgot we had Chukwuemeka on the bench. Yeah, that's a good point.
To Madison. Yeah, that works too.
That is what this team is supposed to be for. Like little quirky ones like that. To get Awoniyi in and also allow that to bring Madison is definitely not something most people are doing.
You've seen Derek's comment. Oh dear. See it's saying, Morris. We haven't spoken about a double game week announcement. Luton and Burnley in game week 7 have a double. Now, Luton's fixtures are all right. I think Burnley go away like at Newcastle and away at Luton. Luton play Burnley at home and then have an okay first fixture of the two. I'll find what it is. But yeah, look, maybe we need to poll simply. Do you want to consider a 4-point hit this week? Yes or no? And then we'll do the options because I'm seeing a lot wanting midfielder and a lot wanting forward. And then we'll prioritize where we go. We won't commit to a transfer this week, but we'll still do some polls. And then we'll commit on Friday. So, guys, do you want to take a 4-point hit this week? Yes or no? Let's just rule it in or out first and foremost.
Yeah.
Luton's double game week is, they're away at Everton. And then at home to Burnley. And Burnley are on the road against Newcastle and Luton. So I think, Morris will have some love.
Morris maybe, but I'm not touching that. No. They both rubbish.
The Chaser team might be just voting for a 4-point hit. That could be loads of fun.
Oh, yes, early lead, 50 votes and out in front. Yeah, keep voting, people. Let's get that. Actually, just end the thing and we can just do a 4-point.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, it's close. It's a close one. Okay.
Oh,
there we go.
Pulled right back in.
Do we let it get to 100 votes and then stop?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
The first
if we can
100.
Get that high. Yeah, if we can get 80. That far. Looks like Yes is going to win, so we should be home here.
Mate, a 4-point hit would be loads of fun.
It would be.
And I reckon if we do get Son in this team, I reckon the Chasers will vote to captain him, because earlier they did say they did edge on Son.
That's true. Yeah, Paolo says any cash in the bank. What did CH say? 2.5 or 2?
2.5, yeah.
2.5, yeah.
So I guess the next question is, we're going to take a hit. We're going to make 2 transfers. We're going to assume you're going to tell us to sell João Pedro, I think, right? But let's poll it. Would you like us to sell? No, which one would you like us to keep the most? João Pedro, Martinelli, or Watkins? Or Chukwuemeka? Oh, hang on. We got to be smart with how we word this. Yeah, we could put Chukwuemeka in there as well. So maybe we just save it to Friday and get on with the wildcard draft. We've only got 14 minutes. Should we do that? We know we're going to take a 4-point hit. Stay tuned on Friday to figure out what we do.
Come with some good ideas on Friday. Come with some good ideas.
Yeah, people. We want combinations, don't we?
We need some good combinations for Friday now that we're taking this hit.
And we'll put the 4 best combinations in the chat. Poll.
Exactly. And remember, this is, like someone just said, it's not your team. This is supposed to be a bit different. It's supposed to be like trying things you're never brave enough to try on your own. So we don't want this team to be rubbish. We really don't. But we can be a bit adventurous.
We'll give you the overall rank on Friday as well. Derek says anticlimactic. Ask how do we get the funds? Sell mid, defender, forward. Yeah, good point. Although I think everyone's going to say sell Martinelli and João Pedro. But yeah, we can poll that. Guys, let's move on to the wildcard draft, our 4th and final.
The thing is as well, like this wildcard draft might help, make some people's minds up, because it might throw up a few options.
Yeah, and look, a few in the chat have said, Mark says, wildcard this team. Someone else said, this team's rubbish, it needs a wildcard. I don't think it does need a wildcard, but look, this is a wildcard team I've put together. Now, before I go through the players, let me warn you, there are a few players, if I was wildcarding in, I think, game week 6, 7, or 8, I'd probably be punting on, but I need to give them another week or 2. Those players include Darwin Núñez. Again, I need to see another game or 2 of him starting. Diaby, again, when Villa's fixtures get a little bit better. There are 2 players I'd love to have and would make this wildcard team a little bit more differential, a little bit more fun. But it's a fairly safe team, because I think for those wildcarding in game week 5, you haven't got a plethora of great options in terms of differentials, because you haven't seen the likes of Darwin starting more than 2 games, 1 game in a row. Like he hasn't started 2 games in a row yet. So I've gone with Liverpool defensive cover. I can't afford Trent, but I think Alisson could be a set and forget option. Unlike Ederson, he's a 5.5 keeper that will get you save points. I think you need triple Spurs because they're flying. Don't be put off by Arsenal and Liverpool for Spurs after Sheffield United. That includes you guys going Son. They will score goals in those fixtures. Like that North London derby and Liverpool at home, I still back Spurs to score 2 goals in those games. So sure, Udogie you might end up benching, but that's fine. Chilwell, I still think offers the best upside of all defenders. Cash, similar, although do monitor Moreno. Again, if I was wildcarding game week 7, 8, or 9, maybe Moreno becomes the better option. I know he's the left back, Cash the right, but I think Moreno is the best attacking fullback at that club. Saka's a set and forget. I've got Rashford in here, even though I'm looking at selling him in my teams. That could be Foden, because I'm between Rashford and Foden. But then I think you go, and Bomo clearly is the best 6.5 mid, even though I love Diaby and Matoma. The double Spurs attack, I've still got Jackson. I've gone Haaland. I've got Newcastle defensive cover for when their fixtures turn. You'd bench Doji and start Share, sorry. And Archer and Kabore still, I think, the best 4 million option. So, yeah, cash is a bit of a risk, says Haley. And I think long term, again, that's why I don't love a game week 5 wildcard. I'd much prefer to go Moreno. But yeah, it looks like the chat kind of like it. Marks is supposed to be different, and yet it never is. Oh, Is that the Chaser team you're referring
I
to?
presume you mean. I presume so. Yeah, I don't think
so,
I'm
Mark.
Yeah.
Let's have a pot, Mark. So yeah, no Wissa says chat sport. No, I'd go and Bomber over Wissa again. It's the 90-minute appeal.
Yeah.
Edison did get a save point against Fulham. Yeah, maybe he did, but he doesn't tend to. Gianni with his Chelsea bias. Hey, I've only got 2. And look, the fixtures for Chelsea. So yeah.
Do you think it is a leak in your game? Do you ever feel like more tempted
100%.
to pick Chelsea? Is it really?
It is. I mean, Havertz last year is a prime example.
Yeah,
but
I guess so,
I've been there, done that with Havertz a lot, and maybe this year I've got triple Chelsea. Not many.
You do the opposite to what I do. You put faith in Chelsea players that is undeserved, whereas I have like Mitrovic in my Fulham team and just refuse to pick him because I'm convinced it's going to make his goals dry up in real life.
I told you earlier, mate. Glass half full. I'd have 4 Chelsea if I could. Yeah, Diaby instead of Rashford. Yeah, could be a good option. RTJ. Again, the Rashford spot from the 11 you can see is probably the one I'd be least confident on. I've seen a couple of drafts. I've got someone in my FPL WhatsApp group that he's one of my ultras on my channel, my ultra members, and with that he gets WhatsApp access. We've been talking earlier today with about his team. He's wildcarding. Gooch, shout out Gucci in Australia because he's going to watch this show. Because I said I'm streaming later. I'm going to do a wildcard draft. He's gone triple Newcastle because he's like, the fixtures turn, which they massively do. But what's your take on Newcastle with the Champions League? Like, I think it's massively going to affect them.
Mate, I'm not touching Newcastle with that Champions League group they've been given is absolute. Yeah. I mean, it's brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant, but it's so hard. Like, and they've got to put a lot of effort. Like that, it's gonna be so emotional and like it's gonna take so much out of them physically and mentally. Those Champions League games because all 6 matches are going to be so big. And I don't think they've got the depth. And I'm concerned a lot about Newcastle's, well, I don't know if failure is the right word, but refusal to buy another centre-back. Like, I think that they're short in that position. And I don't know that they've got quite enough there to get through the spell. So personally, like that is one team I'm really avoiding at the moment is Newcastle.
Yeah, like their 3rd choice centre-back is Dan Burn. Like, obviously, he's their starting left-back, but that's your centre-back best option cover. And Botman is pretty reliable, but Share's had his injury problems in the past, I think. And obviously, Botman went down last game. So, yeah. What's Mark right about, CH? What are we missing here in the chat? I keep trying to explain to you. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Is Mark having a pop? I keep trying to explain. The more hands-on time, the more decisions go to the template. I've missed out there. I don't know what we're talking about. Maybe you haven't followed the chat closely enough. Is Mark trying to say we need to be less template with our chaser team? If so, Mark, yes. Dean and I have been shouting that from the rooftop since game week 1, but you lot keep voting the safe pick. Hopefully you're going to go against Haaland captain. But look, don't want to be swaying you.
Eddie says Rashford has 1 goal, 2 assists. I mean, look, Rashford, he kind of has to step forward now, like for United, because they are in turmoil as we come back to action. Yes, they should have Højlund back as an option, and that should hopefully mean Rashford's back out to the left. Like, I hope that they don't put Rashford on the right. Like, if they put Rashford out to the left, I don't know, stick Martial, even if you stick Martial on the right, or it is Pellistri, or it's Bruno, or you wait for Mount to come out, whatever happens, I want Rashford on the left. Like, that is where he is best. He's winning cutting inside, and that's what I think is worth taking a chance on at the moment. And I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I feel you there. I like his team, but I don't think it's a convincing wildcard week. Like, I know people get twitchy in the international break, or look, it's so team dependent. Some teams need it. But if you are in 2 minds of wildcard or non-wildcard, I'd suggest holding. And I do think there's some good windows. Game week 8 to 9 is the next international break. With that, you see some big fixture swings. And I put together a wildcard draft for game week 9 just to see what I think it looked like. And it does look loads of fun. And again, it's big on teams like Liverpool then. And as you mentioned, like Liverpool are they're starting to click, Liverpool. And again, I've not got any Liverpool players here, but I think they're going to, be really strong this season.
I think they really are going to be strong. And going back to, I mean, their biggest flaw to me, again, I'm slightly concerned about Liverpool not having another centre-back option. But that defensive midfielder that I was worried about, watching Endo for Japan against Germany, the geezer is brilliant. Like, he was brilliant. Like, I couldn't believe like quite how well he played. Like, he was probably my man in the match. Like,
wow, okay.
they, obviously Japan beat Germany 4-1. He was really good. Like, I don't know if he'd be as good for Liverpool straight away. Obviously, like, he's playing for the Japanese national team and he's captain, and you can
is he
lead.
captain? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the leader.
He's
He's obviously like speaking in Japanese, and he's instructed everyone, and everyone gets it and follows his lead. Like, can't quite do that on Merseyside, but it might not be the worst thing. Don't forget that Liverpool do have this run of games. It's a little while away. It's like a month or so away. But they do play Everton, Nottingham Forest, and Luton in successive weeks.
Yeah.
In October.
My game week 9 wildcard, I think triple Liverpool.
Mate, I mean, by that stage, Liverpool, I think a lot of people will be taken a lot more seriously, and that is something to look out for. It's part of the reason why I know it's still quite a long way off, but I'll probably keep Salah, partly because I'm looking at that, because I'm not going to be able to really get him back if I was to downgrade him and then start spending the money.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think by that time, we'll also know exactly what the front three is. So if you do want to commit to a Darwin or even a Luis Diaz, like, we just need to see them playing that same front three for 2 or 3 weeks on the trot with them scoring goals and playing well.
Yeah.
For us to go, yeah, that's Klopp's first choice. Maybe he hasn't got a first choice and it will continue to be opposition dependent, but I don't think it will be. I don't think Klopp's that sort of manager. I think he'll play Darwin and Diaz if they're his first two players, and he won't go, oh, Hackro's playing this week because we're playing X opponent, or Jota's playing this week because we're playing X opponent. If the first choice are smashing it, they'll continue to be in the team. And at the moment, Darwin, Diaz, Salah looks like the first choice front three, but we need to see more of it.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously, did very. I'm like, it did so well against Aston Villa, but then I question: was Darwin just playing that game because sure he came off the bench and scored 2 goals, but also he was always going to play that game because Villa have such a stupidly high line and Darwin will exploit that.
That's true.
So I'm like, so I'm still yet to determine if Klopp is going to change based on opponent, or if he goes, no, my first choice number 9 is going to play pretty much every game he's fit.
Brian's just catching up. He keeps asking, why is the community team taking a -4? Like, is this worth it? There was a poll. We've decided, I'm afraid, Brian, the people spoke and they voted for change.
Friday is going to be fun. Like, we've locked that decision in, by the way. Sorry if you guys disagree with the poll, but we can't put these polls out and go against them. So look, maybe we rushed and shouldn't have put it out, but I think we should. I think we've got to take some risks with the community team. Yeah, and guys all knew with the hit, it was probably to accommodate, I'm guessing, a Son, and because you didn't want João Pedro in either. So
yeah, and a few people have absolutely slated the team when they were looking at it. So it's obviously rubbish. So it needs some fix.
We are both beating the Chaser team at the moment, mate. I looked in the mini league earlier. So yeah, we do need the Chaser team to up its game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it needs to make some bold decisions like Captain Son to do that. Get Rice in, says Baxter.
Mate, I'm fed up with people slandering me over Declan Rice, and I caved and then he scored. I was actually really annoyed with all of you that talked me out of my Declan Rice pick because I should have kept him in.
KBH says, is Jesus likely to start? I think he probably will, but Nketiah is obviously playing well, but Jesus is first choice number 9 at Arsenal, make no doubt about it. And Inda says, is James back or Gusto play this week? He's training, but I doubt he'll be ready for a start straight away. I expect Gusto to play game week 5, right, Dean?
Yeah. I spoke to someone about today, and it's
nice.
Very unlikely that Reece plays this week. Yeah.
Okay, can we do a wildcard poll for the community team? Yeah, we absolutely can, CH. In fact, seeing as you're all here and you're the ones that voted for a 4-point hit, if you would like us to wildcard community team, we're going to ask you right now, and we're going to give you 30 seconds to answer. Would you like the community team to wildcard? Yes or no? We will poll that right now. Good shout, CH. And then we've got breathing space to come into Friday's show. Play your own game, Dean. Yeah, as he does. Good stuff. Derek likes that.
Trying, Derek. I'm trying not to get the noise get to me, but it's hard. Some of it's loud.
And Linda says, play Gusto or Estupinan. As good as Estupinan is, he does go to Old Trafford. Like, you would expect United. I'd play Gusto easily there. He goes Bournemouth away. I mean, I have Colwill or Estupinan in terms of my decision to make. If it was Gusto, it'd be a definite yes, because there's more upside with him. I think I'll still probably play Colwill. Here you go. Time to vote yes or no for the wild card.
A resounding no at the moment. Resounding no.
Can't be bothered to put together a proper wildcard draft.
No, I think you're safe. There's a big swing at the moment, so I think people aren't prepared to give up on it that quick.
Good stuff. Thanks, team. I like that call. We're going with the 4-point here, and why the hell not? Guys, there is loads more coming up from Chasing Green Arrows this week. So thank you for watching today. If you're just joining, I'd say go back and watch the last hour. It's been a good show.
It's been fun.
Yeah, I love our Monday. Our Mondays are probably my favourite show.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously better when we've had an instant reaction to what's just happened. But this one's like, I've literally been being reminded because I've got the Tottenham Burnley game right in front of me, and I've just seen Son complete his hat trick. But yeah, just like refreshing our minds and like looking at some options that we all need to have on our radars. It's been a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to it all coming back. You know, that's probably the best thing about the international break is remembering how much you love the Premier League. Like, I just can't wait for it to start. There's another international break in like 4 weeks.
Yeah,
so annoying.
I've enjoyed this one though, because I've enjoyed the Rugby World Cup, and I'm about to go and watch episode 6, which is the final of the series. It's a very short series 3 of Top Boy. So yeah, I'm gonna treat myself
back
to
on it.
an episode tonight, and then I'm probably done forever because it's the last ever series.
Is it last ever?
Yeah. I'll probably go back and watch them all in a few years though.
Wow, I'm really excited about the fact I've got 3 seasons of something so good to watch.
You're gonna love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with Big Man Backer on Wednesday lunchtime at 2 p.m. UK time, or maybe 1 p.m. UK time. Not quite sure about that. I think it might be 1 actually. But Dean and I will also be back on Friday evening, either 6 or 7. So we'll see you then. But for now, he's been Dean Up and Johnny. You've been the Chasers and the Lurkers, and we love you very much. And we've all been chasing Green Arrows.